All right, here we want to solve the triangle. So what that means is find all the missing sides and the angles. So there are a few different ways that you can do this because this is here we're focusing on the trig unit. We'll use two different trig ways, but once you find one side, you can use Pythagorean theorem to find the other. But again, as I said, we'll use two different trig functions to figure out our sides. So first thing, nice and easy. Let's figure out the third angle. That third angle is 28. All right, so working off this 28-degree angle, we see that we have the adjacent, and we can go after either the hypotenuse or the opposite. I'm going to go ahead and we have the adjacent, so we're going to go ahead and work off the opposite, or find the opposite. So let's go ahead and set up our equation. So I've got SOHCAHTOA. Helps me remember which function to use. I have the adjacent and the opposite, so the tangent function is the function that relates the adjacent to the opposite. So I got tangent of the 28-degree angle is going to be equal to the opposite, which is BC, over 22.6. So I go through and I solve for BC by multiplying by 22.6 on both sides. Bring out the calculator, and you've got 22.6 times the tangent of 28. So parenthesis, hit our 28, and we want the tangent of that. Close your parentheses. So again, look up at your calculator, make sure you've entered it correctly. 22.6 times the tangent of 28. It equals, there's our answer, 12.02, it looks like, 12.02. So 12.02 is about what's equal to BC. So again, a couple different ways that you could do this. We just figured out that this is 12.02. We could use Pythagorean theorem to find AB. Or we could use another different trig function to find AB. I'm going to use a different trig function. And again, this time we can use either one of these reference angles. We can use the 28. That would be, we would use the adjacent to the 28 and the hypotenuse. So we can use cosine. Or we can use the 62. I'm going to go ahead and use the 62. So I know that the 22.6, and we want to use the 22.6 because that's an exact measurement. This 12.02 was rounded, so if we use this, then we get a rounded answer up here, and then we round that answer, and all of a sudden we've rounded twice. You want to minimize your rounding if you can. So opposite is the sine function, relates the opposite to the hypotenuse. So we've got sine of 62 equals 22.6 over the hypotenuse. So here's my x. So go through and solve. I can multiply by x and then divide by sine of 62, but effectively what happens is these two just flip. Another way to think about it is if I put this over 1, now it's a proportion, and I just cross multiply. All right, but at any rate, I get x equals 22.6 over sine of 62. Plug that into your calculator. Get about 25.6 or 25.59 rounded up. So x equals about 25.6.